face dripped with disdain as she watched me tape up a small box in our parents' garage. Still playing shopkeeper on the internet? I kept working, carefully placing the handcrafted skincare product into its eco-friendly packaging. After losing my corporate job during the pandemic, I'd started making natural beauty products in my garage. What began as a small Etsy shop had grown into something more, though my family didn't bother to notice. "At least I'm working, Liv," I replied, adding a handwritten thank you note to the package. "How's the job hunt going?" She flipped her perfectly styled hair, her designer blazer probably worth more than my monthly revenue, or so she thought. "Actually, I just got hired at Lux Beauty Corporation, executive assistant to the CEO." Of course she had. Olivia had always taken the traditional path: prestigious college, corporate ladder, power suits and networking events. Meanwhile, I was the family embarrassment selling little homemade soaps, online as my mother loved to remind me. "That's great," I said, meaning it. "Lux Beauty is a huge company." "I know," she smirked, picking up one of my products and examining it with exaggerated skepticism. "They're actually launching their own natural skincare line soon. You should probably give up this little hobby before you get crushed by real competition." If only she knew. I thought about the encrypted laptop in my home office, the one that didn't contain soap recipes but rather the code for Beauty Base, the e-commerce platform I'd secretly developed alongside my skincare business. "Thanks for the advice," I said mildly, adding another package to my shipping pile. "Sophie," Mom called from the house. "Dinner's ready. And please wash that craft stuff off your hands before coming to the table." Dinner at the Davidson household was always an exercise in endurance. Dad buried in his phone, Mom fawning over Olivia's latest achievement, and me trying to become invisible. "Tell them your news, sweetheart," Mom prompted, beaming at Olivia. "Well," Olivia sat up straighter, "Mr. Harrison, the CEO, personally selected me as his assistant. He said my understanding of luxury brands made me perfect for the role." "That's wonderful," Mom exclaimed. "Much better than selling things on the internet." She threw me a pointed look. I pushed my food around my plate, thinking about the meeting I had tomorrow, not with Etsy customers but with my tech team. Beauty Base had grown far beyond its original scope, now powering the e-commerce operations of hundreds of small beauty brands. "You know, Sophie," Dad finally looked up from his phone, "Olivia might be able to get you an interview at Lux Beauty. Maybe in the warehouse or customer service." "No thanks," I said quietly. "I'm doing fine on my own." Olivia laughed. "Fine? Sophie, you're 30 years old, living in Mom and Dad's garage selling soap on the internet. That's not fine, that's sad." I thought about the offer I'd received yesterday, a major beauty conglomerate wanting to acquire Beauty Base for 9 figures. The irony of this conversation wasn't lost on me. "Actually," I started, but Mom cut me off. "We're just worried about your future, honey. This little online shop of yours, it's not a real career." My phone buzzed, probably another notification from my development team about tomorrow's meeting. But when I glanced at it, I saw an email that made my heart skip. "Urgent. Lux Beauty Corp system crash, Beauty Base integration needed immediately." I looked up at Olivia, still glowing with pride about her new job, and felt a strange mix of amusement and anticipation. Because I knew something she didn't. Lux Beauty's entire e-commerce platform had just collapsed, and the only solution was the system I'd built in secret while they thought I was just playing around with soap. "I need to take this," I said, standing up from the table. "Business call." "Business call," Olivia mocked. "What's wrong? Did someone's shampoo leak in shipping?" I walked out of the dining room, already dialing my tech team's number. Sometimes the best revenge is simply waiting for the right moment. And that moment was about to arrive sooner than my family expected. The next morning was chaos, but not for me. While I calmly packed my usual skincare orders in the garage, my phone kept lighting up with increasingly desperate messages from Lux Beauty's tech department. Their entire e-commerce system had crashed during their biggest product launch of the year. Millions in sales were evaporating by the hour. And the only platform that could handle their scale and integrate with their existing inventory system was Beauty Base. "Sophie." Olivia burst into the garage, still fixing her earring. "I have to go, there's some kind of emergency at work. Mr. Harrison is furious." I tried to hide my smile. "On your first week? That's tough." Apparently our whole website is down. We're losing millions. She grabbed her designer bag. Not that you'd understand what that kind of money looks like. If she only knew that I'd turned down acquisition offers bigger than Lux Beauty's yearly revenue. Good luck, I called after her, then picked up my phone to dial into my real morning meeting. Ms. Walker, my CTO greeted me. Lux Beauty's tech team is on the line. They're desperate. I switched to my other laptop, the one my family had never seen. On the screen, a video conference was starting with Lux Beauty's entire executive team. I quickly changed into a blazer but kept my soap maker apron on underneath. Just for fun. Good morning, I said professionally, watching their faces appear on screen. And there, among the panicked executives, was Olivia, frantically taking notes behind Mr. Harrison. Ms. Walker, Mr. Harrison looked exhausted. Your team says Beauty Base can have us back online within hours. Is this true? Yes, I said simply. We've handled larger integrations before. Larger? He leaned forward. Your platform is bigger than Lux Beauty? Beauty Base currently powers 40% of independent beauty brands' e-commerce globally, I stated. We've been preparing for enterprise-level integration for months. I saw Olivia freeze in the background, her pen hovering over her notepad. She was staring at me, mouth slightly open. The cost, Mr. Harrison started, is considerably less than the $1 million in sales you're losing every hour, I finished. My team has already prepared the integration docs. As my CTO walked them through the technical details, I watched Olivia's face cycle through confusion, disbelief, and shock. When Mr. Harrison enthusiastically agreed to our terms, she looked like she might faint. One more thing, I added. I want this kept quiet for now. No press releases about who saved your launch. Of course, but... Mr. Harrison looked puzzled. Why? I smiled, thinking of the family dinner planned for tonight. Let's just say I'm enjoying my privacy. 3 hours later, Lux Beauty's website was back online, running smoother than ever on Beauty Base architecture. My team had pulled it off flawlessly. My phone buzzed with a text from Olivia. We need to talk. Can't, I replied. Got soap orders to pack. Another buzz. Sophie, I just watched you save my company. Why didn't you tell us? I thought about all the dinners where they dismissed my little online business. All the times they talked over me about real jobs and real careers. Coming to dinner tonight? I texted back. Bring your boss. I think Mom and Dad should meet him. You're evil, she responded. But I could almost hear her laugh. I went back to packing my skincare orders, each one shipped through Beauty Base logistics system, each one contributing to the empire I'd built while they thought I was just playing shop. Sometimes the best success stories are the ones nobody sees coming. The doorbell rang at exactly 7. I was still in the garage, deliberately wearing my little soap maker outfit, complete with apron and messy bun. Through the window, I watched Olivia walk in with Mr. Harrison, both in impeccable business attire. Mom, Dad, I heard Olivia's voice, unusually nervous. This is Mr. Harrison, my CEO. He, wanted to meet the family. I counted to 30 before walking in, carrying one of my handmade soap baskets. The scene in our dining room was priceless. Mom frantically straightening table settings, Dad attempting to look important, and Olivia shooting me warning glances. Sophie. Mom hissed. I told you to change out of those work clothes. We have an important guest. Oh, I don't mind, Mr. Harrison smiled, standing up. Ms. Walker, it's an honor to finally meet you in person. Your team's work today was extraordinary. Mom's hands froze on the tablecloth. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. Thank you, I said, setting down my basket. I trust everything's running smoothly now? Perfectly, he beamed. In fact, our sales are up 40% from our previous platform. I've been following Beauty Base's growth for months, but I had no idea its founder was our daughter who sells soap on the internet? Dad finished weakly. Mr. Harrison looked confused. Soap? Oh, you mean Natural Glow? That's one of the most successful brands on our platform. But surely you know that Beauty Base is the largest beauty e-commerce platform in the industry. Mom sank into her chair. Platform? Industry? Sophie, what is he talking about? I sat down, finally ready to tell my story. Remember when I lost my tech job during the pandemic? While I was creating my skincare line, I noticed how broken the e-commerce systems were for beauty brands. So I built something better. Built something? Dad stammered. How much better? BeautyBase now powers over 40% of global beauty e-commerce, Mr. Harrison answered for me. It's valued at. Let's not discuss numbers at dinner, I interrupted, enjoying how my parents' eyes widened at the word valued. But your little online shop. Mom gestured weakly at my apron. Is my passion project, I explained. A successful one, but also my research lab. Every product I make helps me understand what beauty brands need. Every package I ship shows me how to improve our logistics. Olivia, who'd been unusually quiet, finally spoke. That's why you turned down the warehouse job Dad offered. Hard to take a warehouse job when you own the warehouse company, I smiled. Among other things. The dinner that followed was surreal. Mr. Harrison spent an hour discussing potential partnerships, while my parents tried to process that their struggling daughter was actually an industry leader. Mom kept glancing between my apron and Mr. Harrison's obvious respect, clearly trying to reconcile the two. Why didn't you tell us? Dad finally asked. Would you have believed me? I countered. You were so convinced I was failing that you never actually looked at what I was building. But all those hours in the garage. Mom started. We're split between growing my brand and building my platform. Every time you mocked my little business, I was probably on a call with investors or coding new features. I found out today, Olivia admitted. When my entire company was saved by my sister's hobby. Mr. Harrison raised his glass. To hobbies that change industries. Later that night, after Mr. Harrison left with a basket of my little soaps, worth more than Olivia's monthly salary, my family sat in stunned silence. So, Dad cleared his throat. About all those things we said. Water under the bridge, I assured him. But maybe next time someone tells you they're building something, look a little closer before judging. Mom touched my hand. Your soaps really are lovely, dear. I never actually tried them before. Thanks, Mom. I squeezed her hand. They're still my favorite part of the business. Success is great, but creating something with your own hands, that's priceless. The next morning I went back to my garage workshop. Not because I had to, BeautyBase had offices worldwide now, but because I wanted to. It was where everything started, where I'd built an empire while everyone thought I was just playing shop. Olivia stopped by before heading to work, looking different somehow, more sister, less competitor. You know what's funny? She said, watching me package orders. You really were just selling things online. I smiled, thinking of the acquisition offer sitting in my email, the global companies running on my platform, and the little soap business that started it all. Sometimes, I told her, that's all you need to change the world. She hugged me before leaving, the first real hug we'd shared in years. By the way, she called over her shoulder, Mr. Harrison wants to schedule a meeting about acquiring BeautyBase. Tell him I'm busy, I called back. Got soap orders to pack. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people